In 1944, a group of paratroopers led by Sergeant Elson embarks on a mission in Germany. Their task is to take down a Nazi radio tower located within a church. As they approach their target, their plane comes under fire from enemy soldiers. The surviving men jump from the plane before it explodes and swim to land. Private Edward Boyce reunites with Corporal Ford and witnesses Elson being found and executed by Nazi soldiers. Ford urges Boyce to stay quiet as they regroup with Tibbet, Chase, and Dawson.
Welcome to France.
They proceed towards their objective, but Dawson accidentally steps on a landmine, causing a fatal explosion. Undeterred, the remaining soldiers continue into the woods. In the forest, they come across a French woman named Chloe. Ford instructs the men to discreetly pursue her, ensuring their presence remains concealed. Reluctantly, Chloe allows the men to follow her back to her home after Boyce communicates to her in French that they mean no harm. Chloe leads the soldiers to her village, but a neighbor notices and alerts the German soldiers about her violating curfew. Chloe talks to the Germans while the American soldiers hide. She brings them to her house where she lives with her young brother Paul and Aunt Simone, who is seriously ill and wheezes loudly. The men conceal themselves in the attic. Paul wants to play catch with Tibbet, but he dismisses him coldly before he and Chase check the rendezvous site. Outside, German soldiers execute a man and a woman. Chloe reveals that her own parents suffered the same fate. Chloe tends to Boyce's bullet wound and shares the story of her family. Boyce plays briefly with Paul. Soon, more German soldiers arrive for an inspection led by Captain Waffner. Boyce hides again as Chloe allows Waffner to enter. Waffner tries to assault Chloe, but Boyce intervenes and attacks him. The soldiers restrain Waffner, keeping him tied up in the attic. Ford assigns Boyce the task of locating the rendezvous point. While searching, Boyce stumbles upon the church housing the tower but is at risk of being discovered. He seeks refuge in a truck filled with the lifeless bodies of his fellow paratroopers. Inside the church, Boyce encounters a disturbing laboratory, witnessing grotesque sights such as a disembodied head that still communicates and a bag containing a barely living creature. Remaining hidden, Boyce witnesses the arrival of Dr. Schmidt, the mastermind behind these horrifying experiments. Boyce discovers Rosenfeld, a fellow paratrooper, and courageously removes a large needle from him, saving his life. Boyce also manages to secure a vial containing an experimental serum. Together, Boyce and Rosenfeld escape from the church. Returning to the attic, Boyce reveals the serum to Ford. In an attempt to extract information, they interrogate Waffner about its purpose, resorting to physical force. Boyce explains to Ford the shocking discoveries he witnessed within the church. With this new information, Ford begins devising a strategic plan to infiltrate the church and dismantle the tower effectively. Ford instructs Chase to untie Waffner, intending to use him as leverage to gain entry into the church. However, Waffner seizes the opportunity to attack Chase, overpowering him and obtaining his firearm. The team rushes upstairs to subdue Waffner, but despite their efforts to assist Chase, he tragically succumbs to his injuries. Boyce seizes the needle containing the serum and administers it to Chase, reviving him. However, the effects quickly manifest, leading to heightened strength, disorientation, and a terrifying transformation. Chase turns violent and attacks his comrades, prompting Ford to repeatedly shoot him. Unable to kill Chase through gunfire, Boyce ultimately resorts to smashing his head to ensure his demise. Waffner reveals that the serum's purpose is to enhance the capabilities of its recipients, aligning with the Nazis' ambition for supremacy lasting a millennium. Seizing an opportunity, Waffner escapes, taking Paul captive and delivering him to the German soldiers. Ford and his men engage in a firefight with the Germans, resulting in Waffner suffering severe facial injuries. Ford makes the critical decision to prioritize destroying the tower immediately, considering Paul's rescue a secondary objective. Disagreeing with this plan, Boyce and Chloe conspire to prioritize rescuing Paul. Returning to the laboratory, Waffner confronts Schmidt. In an act of sheer horror, Waffner injects himself with 2 vials of the serum, triggering a rapid mutation that drives him further into madness. Schmidt witnesses this development with great dismay. The American soldiers utilize a captured German soldier, rigged with explosives, to gain entry into the church. While Tibbet and Rosenfeld hold off enemy soldiers outside, Boyce, Ford, and Chloe venture inside. Chloe narrowly escapes an attack by a soldier who attempts to use a mutant against her. However, she defends herself and incinerates the mutant with a flamethrower. Chloe successfully rescues Paul, but they remain under intense enemy fire. Despite being wounded, Tibbet manages to guide Paul through the gunfire. In the meantime, Boyce and Ford confront Schmidt and the mutated Waffner, who launches an attack on them. Boyce engages in a fierce struggle with Schmidt, ultimately overcoming and killing him. Waffner seizes Ford and impales him on a meat hook. Boyce distracts Waffner while Ford frees himself and administers the serum to enhance his abilities for the impending fight. Just as Waffner is about to harm Ford, Boyce hurls a tank and triggers an explosion. Boyce attempts to assist Ford, but Ford chooses to remain behind and ensure the destruction of the laboratory and the tower. With an explosive ready, Ford detonates it, sacrificing himself and eradicating Waffner and the remaining mutants. Boyce reunites with the others outside, confirming Ford's absence, while Chloe tends to Tibbet's gunshot wound. In Boyce's debriefing with his superiors, he recounts the mission, emphasizing Ford's courageous decision to detonate explosives within the tower to guarantee its destruction. He intentionally omits any mention of the laboratory or the experiments conducted there. Boyce's superior acknowledges the team's accomplishments and informs them that they will be reassigned to new duties. And the movie ended. What do you think of the recap? Please let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to stay updated with more exciting content. Thank you all for your support, and until next time.